Time to put the new outer tie rod on my daughter's car. You can probably tell from the looks of this, this is going to get interesting. I'd say we're going to be looking at new rotors soon. Probably, well, the brakes actually got plenty of meat on them. These calipers are all rusty. This knuckle is disgusting. This strut's gonna have to be replaced at some point pretty soon. Yeah. Here's what we're after today. That looks pretty bad. This is gonna take me back to the farm days in Iowa where rust becomes a factor. So I'm gonna bathe this in some lubricant, penetrating oil. See what we can do with it. Well, I got some good news. This jam nut came loose with a crescent wrench because I don't have a big enough spanner for that. But with a little penetrating oil and busted knuckle. So I went with the Moogs, as you've probably been seeing around here on the bench on other projects I've been working on. So there's the outer tie rod, comes with a new nut, and also down in there is a cotter pin, or split pin, or whatever you want to call it. And so I'll get that on there. I managed to get the jam nut loose, and so now it's just a matter of getting that thing out of the spindle and putting in the new one. Well, that cotter pin was so rusty it just broke, so I took my side clippers and trimmed off as much as I could. I'm going to probably pound a socket on here and just twist that off right over the top of that, what's left of the cotter pin in there, and then knock this with a hammer, see if we can get that to drop down out, and then I can get this old one out. Sorry to move around here, I don't have that tripod today. I'm doing mercy reverse here. Manual style. I need to straighten out the steering wheel before I drop that out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish taking this out and then I'll come back. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 revolutions. Alright, we're looking at the Moog outer tie rod end here. This is the one off of the car, which has, this joint is terrible, it's gone. So here's the new one. It is the same. Everything's going to work. One thing I need to do is put the grease zerk into this one and get that prepped. And then I'm ready to put that one back on. 13 revolutions to put this back on, and that should get it close to what it was. And again, she's having her winter tires taken off and the all seasons put back on here in a couple of days, and so they'll do an alignment for her. Okay. Lighting is not great, but here we have the Haynes manual for this Honda Civic. There's the tie rod end to steering knuckle nut. And here are your torque settings. So it's 40 foot-pounds. Or what is that? 71, nope, maybe 54 Newton meters. Looks like. But we're going to go with this, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yep. 40 foot-pounds, 40 foot-pounds, 54 Newton meters. So that's what we'll go with. Alright, so I've got that cranked on, 13 revolutions. Now I'm ready to reattach it to the knuckle and tighten the jam nut. torque wrench. There it is. 40 foot-pounds. And tighten the jam nut. Alright, when you weren't looking, I went over to my local Canadian Tire. Had to buy a grease gun because when I made the move to Canada, I did not bring my old grease gun. I gifted it to my son or his friend, I can't recall. So these are greasable, as you may recall. So I've got that filled up with grease in there. Torqued to 40 foot-pounds, got the cotter pin in there. Jam nut is tight, so I'll put the wheel back on, and then we're going to make plan to replace these rotors this summer. Probably also the strut. That's a mess. Backing plate, it's pretty crisp, pretty crunchy. And the caliper is working great so far. Still works fine. It's rusty, but I'll probably wire wheel this, paint it up and whatnot when we replace the rotors, and kind of see if I can Craigslist rebuild it as Vice Grip Garage guy, I would say, Derek. And anyways, good meat on the pads, so brakes are still good. And just keeping an eye on that lower control arm bushing as well. That's it. Wheels back on. It's not tightened up to torque yet. 80 foot-pounds for torque. I'll do it when I get it back on the ground, because I'm going to do the passenger side tie rod as well. I like to do them both kind of in pairs. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll let the car back down on the ground. I've just got those tightened up with a ratchet for now, and then I'll torque them to spec. So that's going to do it for this. That's a pretty simple job, actually. I was surprised at how easy that came out, given all the rust. So I'm pretty pleased. Alright, I'll keep you up to date, and we'll see you on the next one.